Alright, let's try this again. I wanted to do this video last time. I actually recorded it. Maybe I'll try to interject the video in here. But you could see me try and start the car, and it didn't start. And that was that whole issue with the fuel pump. Now, get a fuel pump prime this time, just like I did last time, but she didn't want to start. So let's see if she wants to start this time. Let's actually record all this. Hot in the garage today, boys. Listen to that turbo. Oh my god. Sounds fucking amazing. Not a single din life. Make sure I turn my music off here. And close up my garage doors. There goes the horn again. I gotta fix this too. The horn keeps going off like it's so sensitive. I gotta figure out why or what's wrong with it. But the horn is like, this is like pushed and barely touching it. It's like driving me nuts. I'm hoping this even works too audio wise. This might not work. Damn it, it's hot out today. Fucking off button stuck again. Oh, AC. I don't know how people don't have AC in their cars. Long ass gearing trying to take off with AC on. Well, the camera fell down there, but let's see. Stinks, man. God. Yes. But see, like literally the horn is pushed in on this side versus this side. I've tried adjusting it. Something, I guess, in the steering wheel is slightly off. So I thought about putting tape underneath, oh crap, both of the little metallic pieces on this side. Only this side of the horn will work then. But I don't know what else to do because it just keeps randomly going off and it's driving me nuts. This new pump setup too, below 3,000 RPMs or 7 PSI, so both of them have to be hit. The secondary pump doesn't kick on. So after looking at data logs and recording all this stuff, the secondary pump only ran 2.1% of the time. That's it. All the time you're tipping in, even getting into boost a little bit, as long as it's it has to be 3,000 RPM and 7 PSI for it to even go off or kick the other one on. So it's not used as much as you think. But when you do need it, you want to make sure it's working. Good. I wanted to log that and see, could have revved a little bit longer, but I want to make sure my fuel pumps, everything's happy. I don't have it maxed out anymore. I'm just too afraid to run the injectors at that high peak level, I guess I'll say. Turn that off. It makes me nervous to make sure that they're not maxing out. I was running with 95%. To get to 36 PSI with a 60 PSI base. So I said, I got a bunch of things going against me right now. I just talked to Alpha over an induction, and he said about going to FIC1650s. Now again, my Rouzerville test has always been that they are natural gas injectors. Yes, they need service more, period, end of story. They're just not stainless steel injectors. Unfortunately, no one makes an in-between injector. So you either go like that 1700 or to a 2600 if you want stainless. Now there's a ton at the 2000, 2100 range, but they're all natural gas injectors. So they're all using these Bosch injectors that are, you know, modified. ID says otherwise, they say they make them, but if that's the case, then yeah. My opinion is there's a reason they don't make the 2000s anymore, is because they wanted their whole lineup to be stainless steel, and Bosch doesn't make that in stainless steel. So what do I do? You know, I'm just a YouTuber, I'm done. Anyways, so I've been looking just about everything, and again, call me hard-headed, say whatever you want, but I really want the Nexus to control all this stuff. The reason being, I can monitor it all. I don't need a controller for it. There's literally one wire powering each pump. That's it. And then they have one ground going right to the battery. Like, it's as simple as it gets. Something's rattling back there. I have to look into that. Something's vibrating. But yeah, like, it's as simple as it gets. I don't know. I always like feedback from you guys. What's your thoughts on all this? I think it's a pretty awesome setup, and I love the simplicity of it. All right, back from our little drive, and if you saw my recent Instagram post, let my buddy Colton drive the car. We had some fun, but I can only really run the car to feel safe, in my opinion, around 31 PSI. I saw the injector duty cycle was around 78, 79%. I could go a little bit more. Realistically, the cutoff is around 85%. You want to go more than that just to leave some room. The injectors can get clogged over time, right? They're going to drop a little bit. So you have to leave yourself some leeway. At the 36 PSI, it was too much. So to eliminate this, these FICs, which have been great for me, read a little bit lower. So they, across the board, I think they come out to like 1550s. I just now ordered, thanks to Absolute German Performance and Alex, ordered some ID1700s, which come out to a little bit over 1800 cc's. So I'm getting about 250 cc. And someone's gonna ask, Ryan, why are you staying in such a marginal area? The problem is I still must run 93 pump gas. There's a lot of places I go to where you can't get 85. So the car has to idle and run. No, you're not gonna make a ton of power, but I still need the car to run and drive. And with the pressure turned up, I'll be fine. Now, we just kind of went over how I want to get the pressure down. I'm going to be able to keep it up now because I'm most likely going to get brushless pumps. So I'll show you guys how to wire and do that. We're most likely going to be running some Fuel Lab brushless pumps. I'm going to run dual. I'll kind of go to that more in depth once that comes, if it comes in this video or the next. I'll go over that in detail, show the wiring, explain how it works, what the difference is, so on and so forth. This has been fun for me. I like going in these stages. This is like almost like I get like, someone's gonna take this wrong with like autistic. I get really hyper focused on stuff. Maybe it's my ADHD. I get hyper focused like snowboarding. If I'm working on snowboarding, that's it. Nothing else matters. Everything's out, and then I get bored of it, move to the next thing. Like I really is into ECU and tuning, and I still am actually on that right now because that's part of all this. And then I move on to the next thing, so on and so forth. Like turbos, whatever. I get hyper focused on it. So right now it's fuel and getting this stuff like dialed in. Again, I could go to a 12 injector setup, but I don't want to do that either. I just don't have any inclination to add 6 more failure points, 6 more injectors I have to take care of. Not made of money. That is something you can do, and I could run 1000 cc or 800 cc primaries and run like 1700 cc secondaries, and that'd be way more than enough. But again, I don't want to deal with that. It's just not for me. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get the car up in the air because I want to get the fuel out of it first. Instead of trying to disconnect from up here and let all the fuel drop down, disconnect down below, let the fuel drain out. I'm hoping I can tilt the car forward because it does sit like this. So once I disconnect down below, I'm going to put the car back down and it should drain out the front of it, and the back will already be off. So I should get a good bit of the fuel out, not all of it, but a good amount of it. So it doesn't splash everywhere. Again, it should dry up instantly. It is E85, it's alcohol, but I'd just rather not get on all my stuff if I don't have to. So let's do that quick. And again, this is obviously brought to you by Raceworks and TI Performance. Once again, Raceworks also sells these awesome tools here. So this is my 8AN wrench and my 6ANs right here, nice and labeled. And again, they're the only one that I've seen that has like the hex end like this. So it has a 6-point end, never seen, and it's relieved. The finish on this too is super nice. That being said too, they also have all these fittings. So this is a little bit of mixture, but most of these are Raceworks. And what I'm gonna do is, so the fuel doesn't keep just pumping out of the car, I'm gonna plug off the ends of the fuel lines, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna check the fuel filter also while I'm down there. And I've got male and female. And they go up to 12 AN. I think in male and female. I don't think they have 20 AN, but I don't really need that. And it's nice. So I converted one of these cases into just using it for this stuff. So I've got male and female, and I've got some other random fittings in here, but this is now my dedicated case just for using this kind of stuff. I leave with all my other AN fittings over there, but this turned out really nice. I'm probably gonna label the top of this. I'm gonna fix these compartments here and actually prioritize it, like, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and male, female, and then the other ones can be open to whatever. But I get these clear containers. I used to get the other ones at Harbor Freight, which I do use the cheaper ones there if I'm doing head work, because after I do it, I throw the case away every time because they get oil and greasy. It works out perfect. You get one for intake, one for exhaust. It fits all your valves, buckets, and everything in each compartment. And you can do one side with one container, one with the other, and it costs you $5. Keeps it sealed up. You don't put it in a box, or I've seen people use cardboard, and there's nothing wrong with that, but this keeps it like I can clamp it down, put it away until I need to bring it back or get rid of it, do whatever. But I don't have to worry about someone bumping it or losing it, or did someone misplace it. Like, it's locked, and if I need to, I can put it and store it away for time. So we're gonna disconnect the feed here first. Again, it's going into a radium filter. This has a 10 micron filter in it. I might actually go to a different filter. ID actually recommends 5 micron filters. Now, Radium doesn't sell it. They do sell the fiberglass filter style, which is 6 microns, so it's one off. Now, this is all 85 line stuff. Never had any problems in the past, but my understanding is ID wants that because they have it down. They can clog up the injectors, and I definitely don't want that happening. So you can buy the filter element directly from Radium, makes it super easy. And since I'm already taking this out just to inspect, it's one of those things of why not? Let's check it and take a look. But this is 8A in here. I'll pop it off here, pull the filter off, and then right there is where I can disconnect the return line. I had to do that because my dumb ass forgot. I didn't have enough line there and went too short, so that's why that double fitting's like that. I know, stupid. Way to go, Ryan. So just gotta disconnect it there and let the fuel out. Fuel is dripping out right now. Now this shouldn't, because this system's not pressurized, but it does always kind of drip out a little bit, flash out, so I figured just plug it off for now, and when I go to put it back on, won't be a big deal, but you can see fuel is dripping out right now, and then I'll disconnect it there next, and then pop this off, and then I'll take the line off from up top. But again, I love how Radium has this here. I really like the Injector dynamic filter style because it screws on and off, but this is nice because this mounts in the factory location. It's a massive filter, if you can't tell too. Just a nice setup in general. All right, so that was quick and easy, and again, capped off right there and capped off there just so I can get the car down. And then now those two lines are already disconnected, so I just gotta undo the bolts and pop the injectors out. This lets most of the fuel out. It's still gonna have fuel drip down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's still fuel sitting in there, but this allows most to get out of it. Took the clamp off and got my filter over here. I'm gonna break that open. I should say break it, but I'm gonna put it in the vise over here. I've got some rubber jaws. Get it open and check the filter inside. All right, so I got the front hose off. I'm just gonna lay it there because I don't need to fish it back down through. But that's all undone. You wanna make sure you unhook your fuel pressure regulator there too, your vacuum hose. Make sure you unclip all of your injectors. And then the only thing I gotta do is bolt, and then it pops out. And that's it. Let me double check everything. Is there nothing else I'm missing? Just wanna make sure. That's it, and I'll pull it out. Now this is guaranteed going to make somewhat of a mess. Well, as long as I hold the injectors in, it won't be bad. But that's damn near impossible to try and get them. So whatever pops out, pops out. Whatever dumps fuel, dumps fuel. But I try to get all of it out. I got a little bit out of the front there, but there's definitely some still just inside that rail. So we'll see how this goes. All right, so the injectors are out there, guys. They're going up to my buddy Eric. He's the one that makes those badass fire extinguishers for the Supra. Well, let me just show you guys. He makes these. I guess he's not, I mean, it's Killer Concepts, but it's not really a shop, but he makes this. And it bolts up to the factory seat, which I always thought was cool. Both cars have it. So always really like that. It's nice to have that safety precaution. But he wanted some 1650s, so I sold him those, and I'm going to IDs. And again, everyone's already gonna say it's negligible, but we'll see. Most tuners seem to prefer IDs also, but I'm gonna change this filter or take a look at it here. This fits a 12AN wrench perfectly, and again, I use these rubber grips in my vise, and they're just spinning around. One thing I did do years ago though, because 9 times out of 10, when you go to replace these O-rings, they just expand and they don't go back in properly. I got some, I forget what the website was, I got the right size. So I've got a bunch of them in here. I got left 6, 7 in there. So I'm gonna have to order more. I'm gonna have to figure out where I did. I probably did it in a video, I just can't remember. Maybe you might get lucky, but I never have been. And there is the filter, which once again looks spotless. But again, we're talking, look, ooh, actually look at all the dirt in that. Look at all that. Wow. Again, this is 10 micron, which some people say is too small, and ID wants it even smaller, but you can see, definitely got particulates in there. Look at that, see? That's what your fuel filter's for. And like I said, I am going to be going to the non-reusable. So this is a 10 micron reusable stainless steel filter. They want 5 micron. The only micron that's smaller than this is 6, and that is the I think it's plaster, what the heck's it called? Like fiberglass or something. It's not reusable. So I'm gonna go to that one. I'm gonna put this down here real quick. So yeah, just a empty tube. But yeah, let's take this off. But I wanted to see it, but you can definitely see particulates in that. Like I can definitely see dirt and debris. It's doing its job like it's supposed to. I want to kind of wipe it with a rag here and see what I get off. So I just cleaned off the filter again. I'm gonna put this away for storage. It's not bad, it's reusable for life. That's the whole point of it. So I'm gonna let it dry out. I'm gonna put it in a bag, in a box, and mark it so I at least have it. If I ever need to switch to, or they say need to, I have it there. But that was the first clean off. I wanted to get close here. You can see some metal debris in there. Looks like something must have been in the tank. Again, all new lines, everything else, there could have been debris from assembling. Who knows? But again, that's the point of the filter. So that was the first spray. This is with brake cleaner here. Second, and this is the third time. I'm gonna do it one more time. Go the whole way around it. I'm out of that can. I'm gonna use one more can, like half a can, to get whatever last debris I can get off, and that should be good then. But that just shows you, look at that. All that debris was inside that filter. There's a second time around, and then the third time, and you can see it got a lot less. That fell off. I don't know what the heck that is, but that fell on there. You can see. So yeah, I'm gonna hit one more time. So I want the rag to look damn near clean. If it's still not a fourth time, I'll hit it a fifth time. I want it to be damn near close to, you know, spotless clean is the goal. All right, so my ID injector showed up. These are ID1700s. I just want to show you side by side. One thing I didn't know till I got these is they use a different connector from my FICs. I did not know that. I will say this, I prefer these connectors over these things with these stupid clips. I absolutely hated trying to get these things back on. I hate it because you almost wanted to be on there and they would never stay on. You had to like clip it on. This is a much better design, and it's more like truly like OEM. I guess this is OEM for somewhere, but like I absolutely hate that design. Pain in the butt. So yeah, and depending those versus these are like like a Molex. Like they look like a regular, almost like a Toyota pin. You get your weather pack sealing here. But anyways, here's what the injectors look like difference-wise. Again, 1650, 1700. Again, you guys are gonna think semantics, but the flow in these is a good bit more. And with my base pressure, should do it better. But again, you can see the connector difference here. So if I show you, see that, how it clips there on all three sides, where this clips on just the one side. And it's a little bit smaller too. You can see how square and big this one is. Not sure if that truly matters all that much, to be honest. But yeah, so I'm gonna install those. I gotta put these back in the box here because these are going off to my buddy Eric. So put them there. And now I gotta finish cutting the wiring for this and pinning it all. So I'm to de-pin all this so I can, you know, cut it right up to the very bottom of the where the pin is, because I don't like to waste any wiring. So it still has a ton of length here. If you can see here, I did one already. I still got a ton of length. Yeah, I don't want to cut any off, and we're talking a very small amount. You know, the less I have to cut, the better. So this has been like a little like stomach wrenching for me, but the reason I also de-pin this, as you can see here, when I cut the pin, I cut it right up at where it have to. So I don't want to waste any wiring. I don't have to. Again, Jose does a really good job with this. So I prefer to de-pin all of them, and then I cut right up at the bottom. So look at this. He did a phenomenal job. And that's how you're supposed to properly crimp around the sheathing there. You can't see mine there, but you know, that the green part or whatever just slides over the sheathing, and then you don't clamp down on that. Like that you shouldn't see copper through that. You're just literally rounding it off. So use something like this. So you have, see there, there's different sizes. The round areas for that, we'll call it the seal, and you literally say it says seal there. Use the one for where it clamps on the wire, and the other one is for the seal itself. And then I do a major tug test. So if it pulls off, then I'm literally holding it and then yanking on it, because the last thing you want to do is have this come loose. Now I do actually zip tie my wiring harnesses. There might be better ways. I just zip tie them up to the manifold. I don't let them hang free, just so they're not relying on the pins in there, just God forbid. And then I make sure there's a ton of slack for like this here. You know, it's going to move around no matter what, but you don't want it to be like this one. Even here, I don't like, see how much that has. I don't like that. Like I want it to be tight as a tiger. I wanted to make sure it's loose, that it has free play and it's not getting yanked on those pins. Because again, especially like this or crank signal, if I lose that, the car will shut off. That's easy. But an injector, I can lose an injector, and without EGTs, I can't tell if it's running lean in that spot all of a sudden. So you have to be very careful with this. And then I'm not going to lie, if I wouldn't say it makes me nervous, because it's such a crucial part. And I never think about it. Jose does a very good job. I give him a lot of shit, but he's very talented at this. He does a very good job. He might not be the best to look at, but hey, he's good at wiring. Well, I'm a little disappointed right now. Not in the injectors, not my wiring, but I really wanted to use this Raceworks fuel rail because I wanted to run a fuel damper. So Radium makes a fuel damper and it has a port right there for it. Unfortunately, the angle of the SMS manifold won't allow it the way they have the injectors angled. So I have to use their fuel rail, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it per se. It's just, the only thing I don't like is not anodized on the inside. Now it has had fuel run through it and stuff, so it's cleaned it out. So yeah, I just wanted to run that. I wanted to run a fuel damper just because I thought that'd be pretty nice. I was going to run the small one even with a vacuum line to it, since I got an extra vacuum port on the bottom. You can run it without if you get the big one up to like 105 PSI. The small one requires it over 70 PSI. So I was just going to run the small one with a vacuum just to be safe, because the big one I think would even be pushing it. So might as well just run the small one that looks better in my opinion, and just run vacuum to it and not have to worry about it, just like you would a fuel regulator. Apparently that really keeps the injectors a lot happier, so that was my goal, but I can't do it now, which kind of stinks. Anyways, just oiled up the injectors to put them in. I always put a dab of oil around the O-rings, just did the top here, and now I'm going to put a little bit inside the fuel because it just needs a little bit of extra help there. Slide it down on and bolt this bitch up. All right, so now I'm testing the injectors, guys. So again, all the ID injectors in, I got the car keyed on. I went ahead and turned off the fuel pump so it wouldn't prime. So the fuel system and stuff, I never primed it yet, nothing. I wanted to test the injectors. So with Haltech, I had to input the data here first. Again, thanks to Alex and Nick to make sure I just, got to be careful. But it's basing out 12 volts. You put in your injector pressure. Well, sorry. I forgot, dead times here. So which is based off your pressure versus battery voltage, and you get that all directly from the ID website. So 43 up to 101. Fill in that information. Then you put in your flow rate, depending on the pressure again. So I hate when it changes that. So fuel volume, I'm taking, it was in gallons. I don't want that off. So let's put it back to CC. There we go. That's better. So at 43.5, there's 1728, 2010 at 58, 2247, and 2452 at those base pressure. So that's your static base pressure, not hooked up to vacuum. Okay, so mine's probably at like 2040 cc injectors now with a 1700 ID at a 60 psi base. And again, there's my dead times. Now, to test these injectors, to make sure they're good, you literally click this. It pulses it on for just a millisecond. Again, you'll be able to hear it here. So I'm going to click the test. Listen. So that's me literally clicking, see if you can hear it inside. Probably not, but you literally click that and it just tests it. I tested all 6 and all 6 are working. So that makes me super happy. What I got to do next here is put fuel in the system and try fire up. I'm a little nervous. Again, nothing should change. It should be all copacetic from here. We'll find out. Guys, so I decided to come inside here. Here's my fuel map currently. Again, ignore this side here. I can trim that all down because again, that shit doesn't matter. Because again, my car's not going to make 40 pounds of boost. Realistically, it's this area here for cold start, and then it works its way up. And again, this could be smoothed out more, but I've done just about everything going out, and that's pretty much where it's happiest, and it comes out in plateaus. In this area here, I could probably trim it out a little bit. It reads like 1% higher than need be, maybe 2 in some spots, but it's one of those things I'd rather read a little rich than lean. So yeah, that's currently where I'm at. So if you come over here, there's dead times that are supplied by Injector Dynamics and their flow rate. Now you can adjust this also depending on voltage and everything else. They make it pretty easy for you. Again, this can be adjusted because what you get out of the box is not always right. So this can be adjusted. Again, that's up to you and how much time you want to spend with it. I'm not a real tuner, so I'm just kind of spitting here for you guys because to pretend like I am is a joke. The biggest thing for me was getting the base for idle, and even still messing with cold start, but make sure your car's warm and adjust this stuff with all your corrections off. You don't want any corrections dictating this because those corrections are based off of your base. So you need to make sure your car's warm, take care of all that stuff, and then go from there, but I'm pretty happy. And again, you'll see here, target lambda is 0.91. Well, it actually goes down here after because it has trim over there, but as it goes up, you can see here as the car warms up, boop, 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 it's taking less and less out, and it's hitting that target. So right now it should be taking out about 5% or 0.5 actually. And if you read down here, actually, we'll pull it up. Damn it, it's not. Let's go here, coolant temp correction. So if you could see here, no, not that one. Gosh dang it, where is it at? There we go, coolant temp correction for target. So you'll see that and go, it's 0.06. Well, if you read down here, if you're reading via lambda, like this here, 1.0 plus negative 0.3 means 0.97. So it's a different scaling versus 0.5 versus 14.7 for air fuel will take that down. So you guys can do the math there and understand that. So that would make sense there that it's hitting my target because I have it currently set to, run the wrong one, start fuel. You'll see here target lambda is 0.91, it's hitting 8.7, and it's right in between there, so it's close. And again, it's not going to hit it perfectly. It's an engine that's running with a bigger cam, so it's going to waver slightly, but it's doing what it's being asked to within reason. Again, based off that base VE and tuning table there. So that's it. That's pretty much it, guys. I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy with these injectors. I wasn't a believer, I'll tell you that much. I was like going to relatively the same size injector. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense, but apparently it does. So I'm pretty happy so far. There's still a lot more to be done, a lot more to go through. I've got the car tuned in at 36 PSI. I'm shooting for 38, then 40, and slowly stepping up. So I'm really, really happy, like extremely happy. Couldn't be happier. Now the real test will be long-term. Are they going to get stuck? Are they going to get dirty? Are they going to get clogged up? That's one thing. I put the right fuel filters in. I'm doing everything they asked, right? That whole system's been cleaned out, cleared. I had other fuel ran through it for miles and miles. So there's nothing been touched, moved, anything. So this will be a real test to be like, oh, you know, you need to do this and this. Like, I will be the first one to tell you if ID gets back to me saying I have a bad injector when my FICs lasted me 3 years and we're like new. So let's see how the long term goes. Guys, thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. All right, we're cut here real quick. I was gonna end this video, but I made a post on Facebook talking about FIC versus ID, and apparently I started a fucking shitstorm. So what I wanna get at here is this. Put new ID injectors in, and I didn't really talk about as much earlier in this video, but ended up flowing a lot more. I actually gained a ton by switching to ID1700s versus my FIC1650s. Now, these are supposed to be two comparable injectors, but from the flow standpoint, they're not. I mean, I did nothing else besides change the injectors and then the tuning. Now, what seemed a little bit off was the dead times. Now, looking into it more, the dead times were changed to actually help the car idle better and stuff better on FIC versus what came on the sheet. So you get a sheet from FIC, especially after you get them clean, saying like, hey, here's your flow rates and stuff, and here's some dead times. They were different, but these can be adjusted, right, depending on each car. So the tuner at the time had adjusted, so nothing wrong there. And the flow is flow, right? With the flow chart they give you is the flow they give you. And that's where you're going to get your injector duty from. Now, the problem is just the IDs flow more in general. Like I'm seeing right now when I take the car for a pool 36 PSI versus 36 PSI with FIC. FICs, I was hitting 95% over and over, which don't want to do. That's way too high. And I just got scared. And I'm like, I was just start to drive the car at 31, 32 to be safe. And that sucks. And at 36 sucked. Like I want to go higher than that. If I got a 76, 75, I just feel very kind of stuck with this build engine. But I don't want to go too big of an injector because then you got other issues to deal with. And I don't want to go 12. You know, less is more mindset. So I looked at ID2600 and my friend's like, look, say at that 60 PSI base, the two pumps will keep up. I'm telling you the ID1700 will give you that much more headroom. And he's right. Right now I saw a spike at 78%, but also the Lambda went rich. It ran like 0.76 versus the 0.78 target. But for the most part, it was hitting like 76% duty cycle at 36 PSI. That means I gained 19% duty over my FICs. I'm not talking crap on another company. My FICs were great. Like I said, for years and years, never had a single problem. No ifs, ands, or buts. I have nothing negative to say, but apparently the internet just loves to find an issue besides saying like, look, one just flows more. Get the FICs because they are cheaper. My IDs were expensive. I'm not sponsored. I didn't get them for free. I had to buy them straight up free and clear like everyone else. Yeah, I'm just sorry, one flows more, but the FICs are a lot cheaper, so it's all what you want to do. If you don't need all that extra headroom, don't get IDs then. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I didn't think my IDs drove bad or had startup issues or any of that stuff. Apparently the IDs are better. I so far haven't gotten that fine tuned yet, but I think they're pretty comparable there. What do I know? Like, again, I'm not a tuner like I disclaimed earlier, but I just kind of wanted to clear this up. But yes, the ID1700s flow a lot more, got a lot more headroom out of them. It is what it is. And the only thing I will say I do like better is I do like the clips on the ID1700. You use the US car, whatever the hell they're called, instead of the ones where they have that stupid metal clip. I'm just not a fan of those. Just a pain in the ass to put back on when you get it on, especially in the tight engine bay versus one that clips on and off. And it has a lock on it too, so it doesn't pop off. Again, personal preference, not a big deal. It still works fine either way. But yeah, they flow more. Not here to argue with anybody. It's just, that's what I saw from my personal testing, from my car, changing nothing else besides injectors and tuning. Nothing else has changed. People love to argue. But anyways, now, that being said, peace guys. Thank you all for the support. Again, you thank Steve, Alex, Joe, everyone out there that helped me. Edgar over Sleeper Design Tuning. Alex is over at Absolute German Performance. He has helped me a ton. Spent a lot of hours and stuff. I still like to get down to him to do some tuning there. Just kind of go over and actually get on, get some actual timing in the car because I think it needs more personally. I don't know. It seems like it does though. So yeah, thank you guys very much and I'll talk to you later. Peace.